why would anyone pay for an OnlyFans? Why would anyone part with their money for that? It's a question I get asked all the time. I'm actually an OnlyFans creator. I've been creating content since April 2020, and I have been creating more explicit content since August 2020. Often when I speak to people, I get judged a lot for creating the content. But something that always surprises me is when people go you, but I would never buy it. I don't understand why people buy it. Why would people pay for that? And I find that a really difficult question to understand, like why someone would ask it. I don't understand what the confusion is, I guess, about paying for that for a particular type of content. OnlyFans isn't like OnlyFans, the website, I guess, is kind of like a new platform base, but sex work is like one of the oldest professions going. And then even when you consider the internet, of course, a lot of content is available for free, but I don't think like paying for content, like a monthly subscription, it's Netflix. You know, you pay for Netflix, you pay to watch a movie or a TV series that's been produced and actors have participated in it, and there's a lot of work that goes into it, and then you pay a monthly subscription to watch those films. I suppose films aren't free. I think maybe that's the confusion, and people don't understand why you'd pay for it when there's so much content for free. I think my initial reaction is like, why would anyone ever pay for OnlyFans? It's kind of like, well, first and foremost, they want to support somebody, a creator. And then there's the whole wanting to see that person's specific content. Obviously, you can go on to these websites where it is available for free, but you perhaps don't get the same kind of connection with the creator. I think another thing for me for another reason I find it difficult is because I've never personally watched this kind of content that I make. I don't watch the free stuff. I've not watched, I have subscribed to a few creators on OnlyFans, mostly out of either support or research to see what kind of other creators are doing. I personally don't understand the difference between OnlyFans and Patreon. So you are paying for a particular type of content, and yeah, it is of a more explicit nature, but you're also paying for content that you can't see somewhere else of a particular person. You can kind of get to know that person. Why would I go and pay for someone's Patreon when I can go and watch hours, like infinite hours worth of footage on YouTube or vlogs and stuff? I pay for Patreon because I want to support that creator. I want to see more of that creator. Also, I think something to consider, which isn't really thought of, is that if you want to see a creator continue to create and provide content, typically they need to be paid, because otherwise they're not going to have time to make the content because they'll have to get a different job. They won't be able to pay for any equipment, so cameras, lighting, microphones, computers, editing software. So I kind of see my OnlyFans as a way that someone can not only see a more explicit content of me, but a way of supporting me so that I can continue to create content. If I wasn't being paid through OnlyFans, I wouldn't be able to pursue YouTube. I wouldn't be on Instagram. I wouldn't be on Twitter. I wouldn't be on TikTok. Definitely not to the same level. That doesn't mean that I don't enjoy what I do, but if I wasn't being paid for it, I wouldn't put as much time into it because I would have to be seeking out a different type of work to get money to feed my family. So I think when I consider why would I pay for an OnlyFans, it's because I want to support that person. I want to continue to see their content. I would support someone's Patreon because I want to continue to support that person and to see more content being produced. If nobody pays them, they're not going to create content anymore, so no one's going to get the free stuff. I get that's what I see about supporting an individual. I think the point where you can get free content and then mine is paid for, other creators you have to pay for. From what I've heard, when you upload a video onto these free websites, you don't actually earn very, very much money at all. And you can have a little bit more say ish, that doesn't mean that the creator's going to do what you want, but you can message them and be like, hey Charlotte, I really like that content you did last week, that was great, but do you think that in the future we could see more of this, or could you try like this angle, or could you wear red, because I just love Woman in Red. That's a film. I wasn't even thinking of that at the time. So you can have a little bit more say in what you would like to see somebody do. If you go on the free websites, you kind of get there are so many videos to choose from, I know that, but you might not be able to see a specific model that you kind of fancy do something that you really want to see them do. And you definitely, as far as I'm aware, you don't get to message them, you don't get to interact with them. So unless I'm completely misunderstanding the question of why would anyone ever pay for OnlyFans, that's kind of how I feel about it. It depends on why people are so kind of shocked as to why people would pay. A lot of the subscribers that I have are lovely, lovely people that have... I see a lot of people kind of go, oh, anyone that pays for OnlyFans, obviously you aren't getting any. And it's like... Or they can't get any. That's such a bold assumption to make. And actually some of these people are so lovely and they just work a lot. They're just busy. And they don't want to kind of have this attachment to someone when they're on business trips. But they need some bit of company or a bit of intimacy. But they also don't want to just log into a free website where it's kind of a free-for-all on who they're going to see. They want to... there's so many reasons. Some of my subscribers have had medical issues, and some people just like it. Do you know what I mean? I don't understand why people are always so shocked that people would pay for it. I see this is like a question amongst men now on TikTok and podcasts, and someone will go, have you ever paid for an OnlyFans? And they go, no, have you? And they're kind of trying to be all no, I've never paid. And then occasionally you see one, they're like, yeah, I've paid. Why wouldn't I support someone? And then they're all kind of sat there like, oh yeah. I don't get it. I don't get why it's an embarrassing thing, or it's perceived to me to be an embarrassing thing for a man to pay for an OnlyFans because it means he's not getting any. Whereas to me, I'm like, you're supporting somebody who's trying to make a living. Do you know what I mean? I think that's an amazing thing. And it's so funny because I always see these kind of people say it's not cheating. Some people say it's not cheating if your partner watches free content, but then if they pay for content, then that's crossing the line. Whereas I'm kind of like, have you paid her? I hope you've paid her because she's made that content. She hasn't, she's put some time and effort into that and she deserves to be paid. What, you're not going to pay her? And then in my head, I'm like, so that's not gentlemanly to not pay her. Do you know what I mean? Because I've lived the life of content creation, I found now that if I find somebody on YouTube that I really like and I watch their content for a while and I've got really into it and it's really helped me, I'll go and support their Patreon, because I'm not necessarily personally interested in seeing extra content. For me, it's kind of like paying for the free content that you've given me, and I appreciate and I've absorbed the free content. You've provided me with hours of entertainment. You've made me feel better on a down day. You deserve some money to say thank you, and I'm in a place where I can give a little bit of money to show my appreciation. You know, there was a long time I followed a creator on YouTube for years and I loved her channel. I think she's amazing. I don't know what's up with my voice today, I'm sorry. I think she's amazing. I loved everything that she did. Always really excited when she posted something. And for a long time she was like fully funded by her Patreon, and I could never support it, and I always felt really bad. But I just didn't have that kind of money to be able to even, like, I think it was something like £8 a month, but I couldn't like give that to someone else at that time. And actually she stopped creating content. She doesn't create content anymore. But I had the money and her Patreon is still open. So I went and supported her Patreon and I sent her a message and said, thank you for everything you've ever done. And I don't expect anything from it because I know her Patreon has kind of slowed down as well. But I just wanted to say thank you for all the content that you've made and all the entertainment you've provided me. I saw this podcast the other day when they were joking about how they can't imagine being sat there with their boxers around their ankles and then they're trying to find their bank code with the digits and being like, oh yeah, what's the last 3 digits, put that in. And then that would be enough to stop them and deter them from paying. Because they'd be like, oh, what am I doing? I'm going to go and look at the free stuff. And obviously each to their own. I'm not saying you're a bad person if you don't pay for an OnlyFans. And I'm not saying that you should go and buy someone's OnlyFans. I'm just saying, like, you're supporting a creator, whether that's Patreon, whether that's OnlyFans, whether it's Pocket Stars, whether it's Fansly, whether it's Kickstarter, you know, I don't know, showing your appreciation. I think it's funny. Another thing I've seen is supporting someone's OnlyFans, Patreon, whatever, is like going to a local business rather than to a corporate company, and like a small local business. It's like the difference between, I can't think now, but if you go and buy a card from Card Factory or Clinton's or something and going and buying one at a local craft fair from a person with a stall and they hand make all their cards. When you buy that card, that money kind of goes directly to the creator. They can then buy food for their family, or that you're helping them to pay for their Christmas or like their own personal like savings or holiday or whatever, but that money goes straight to that creator. Whereas you pay money to the Card Factory or Clinton's, which is a lot more convenient. They're on every high street and they're probably cheaper. But the staff there will not get any kind of real benefit from your money in the same way. Do you know what I mean? That's how I view it. I view it as supporting a small local business versus shopping at a corporate company. Of course, I shop at corporate companies. I'm not saying that you should avoid free content or that you should never shop at a corporate company. It's too easy. But if you see a card at a craft store that you really like, you're going to buy it and you're going to say, here you go, here's some money. Thank you for creating this. And I think it's the same situation, you know. If you really like a creator and you like their stuff, why wouldn't you support them on Patreon or OnlyFans? Why wouldn't you see more of their content or whatever? If you went to a craft fair and there was cards and they were really beautiful cards and you really loved them and you thought, oh, that's perfect, you know, my mum's going to love that card for her birthday or whatever. I don't know, it just feels good to support a local small business, I think. Maybe you completely disagree with me. I think I've rambled on. for long enough now, and we'll see in the comments if I've completely misunderstood the question or not. Let me know what you think. If there's anything more that I should discuss or that I've missed out on, let me know. That's why I think I don't even know if I've made a point in this video. I've tried to cover some topics because it's a question I get asked a lot, and so I thought, you know what, I'll just make a video on it. Well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.